Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Conference. And can I first of all say, Pauline Pearce, you're an inspiration, a vitally needed voice in this party. Thanks for all you do, Pauline. Conference, this is an important and timely motion. I especially want to agree with lines 14 and 16 that emphasise that this issue, and primarily its impact on our young people, must be responded to urgently and effectively. Lines 29 to 34 talk about the need to work more closely with churches, as Sir Simon Hughes has mentioned, mosques, the police, as well as community-led approaches. To that end, what links the earlier and latter lines I reference for me is a compelling and urgent need to invest in the youth service, which all over the country has been decimated under this Tory government, and let's be honest, folks, under the coalition years too. In the name of austerity, vitally needed youth clubs, youth workers, detached and street-based youth work has been cut back to its bare bones, or more often, axed altogether. And though these cuts may initially help a council's economic bottom line look more healthy, in the end it is a false economy. When the youth service goes or is cut back, the often vulnerable young people who rely on it don't suddenly disappear. No, they end up having to use more often other parts of our depressed and depleted public service, such as the hard-pressed NHS and, yes, the police and criminal justice system. 2 years ago, here in Bournemouth on this stage, Conference passed a motion which I was proud to move as chair of Lib Dem Friends of the Youth Service, calling for statutory funding for the youth service. Sadly, but perhaps understandably, that policy didn't make it into the Snap general election manifesto earlier this year. But as Baroness Burt at a fringe on the National Citizen Service said to me last night, and I don't think she meant this literally, but she said if it's not in the next one, she gave me permission to go to Parliament and gently, of course, whack our parliamentarians round the head. Well, I'm very much a man of peace and not a man of war, and I think peace is definitely what this motion is about. But I really do hope that the Youth Services motion that we passed 2 years ago and that this one, and I'm sure it's passed later today, will not just go into the dustbin of Conference history. And I call on Simon Hughes to join with me to ensure that it doesn't. The Youth Service is important. Our young people are important. Let's invest in them. Let's back this motion.